All right. If you've bought anything ever, then this podcast episode is really going to resonate with you. We are going to be talking about the freedom that exists at your fingertips that you aren't even aware of, and how marketing is here to help us take action and make a yes or a no. It's a very juicy episode. Okay. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get our asses right into it. Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast, where we explore the mindset shifts, energetic upgrades, and practical strategies that support you in becoming the woman who creates what she desires with confidence and clarity. I'm Amy Diamond, and I help high-performing women like you move beyond shame, guilt, and struggle so that you can step into deeper wealth, confidence, and a life that feels delicious inside and out. If you've ever sensed you are meant for more and you're ready to create it, this is your place. It's time to move beyond the vision board, babe, and become the catalyst for true transformation. You're about to step into something really powerful. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Amy Diamond. I'm delighted to be here with you today. Thank you so much for pressing play. I want to just share a little bit about the workshop that's coming up at the end of this month because it is going to lead into today's topic. So if you haven't yet caught the episodes prior to this one, there is a workshop that I am putting on at the end of July called the Money Magic Workshop. Inside that workshop, we're going to be spending 4 days together, just an hour a day. Okay, so don't freak out. OMG, I need to take time off work. An hour a day over 4 days. We are going to be talking about habits, patterns, and or the identity of under-earning. We're going to talk about how some of our childhood roles and how they are impacting our ability to earn more, to increase our income, and how these are creating some internal guideposts that are not allowing us to increase our income. And we're going to be talking about moments of extended financial scarcity, financial struggle, and how these are impacting you long term. So this workshop is, okay, here's how we're going to talk about it, okay? If you are in any way, shape, or form wanting to earn more in your life, all right, you want more money in, and you're like, I can't seem to figure out what's going on. Why can't I seem to increase my income? This workshop is for you. Come and join me. If you have struggled as with a potentially a narcissistic parent, in particular, if you are the scapegoat child in your family dynamic, then absolutely this workshop is going to be super powerful for you. There's a specific element of the training that is going to create some crazy powerful unlocks for you. If you are an entrepreneur and you have a business, but it's taking longer than you think or than you'd like to grow, if you are really struggling to stand firm in your pricing or to send invoices when you've done services, if you go through these internal boom and bust cycles where when things are pouring in, you're like, whoa, this is amazing. And you're like, okay, I hope this is going to be the answer and everything's going to go through. And then you go through a bust and you just feel this intense panic, then this workshop is going to be really powerful for you because we're going to be talking through the lens of what happens when we're doing all of the work. We're experts in our field. We're confident in the work that we do, in the quality, in the execution of how we put it together. We know that our clients, our customers are going to benefit greatly from working with us. And yet we can't seem to get ourselves behind really promoting our value in a way that actually means that we're going to have more dollars in our bank account. And this isn't just for entrepreneurs. If you are in a job and you have kind of stalemated, maybe you've always been working in roles that are way less than where you feel that you should be working, like you're really under falling below your potential, and no matter what, you can't quite seem to like move the needle on that. Or you've had moments where you've been in this particular situation that was like really beautifully aligned for your growth. So you made some amazing strides, you got promoted, you were like doing work that was right at the edge of what you were capable of, but it was also growing you super powerfully. And then you've stalled there, then this workshop is going to be really, really powerful for you. Now, as I was trying to figure out, like, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, by the way, so as always, I feel like this goes without saying, but I probably should say it. The workshop is completely free you need to save your seat in order for me to send you the link where we're going to actually have the workshop, okay? Because it's not going to be on any like social media platform or anything. It's going to be strictly held in the Zoom room. So you need to get your sweet little peach to the URL in the show notes, amyvanmeel.com/magic money, and register to save your seat so that I can send you the Zoom meeting where we're actually going to sit down and have the training. And when you sign up for that, you'll also automatically get 7 days of rewatch time. So if for some reason you can't make a live training, or you can only make part of a live training, and or you want to just rewatch a live training, the rewatch is there for you. The replays will go up. Generally, I get them up within a couple of hours of the training being complete. So it would be really, I don't know, I was going to say it would be really helpful for you to sign up. I mean, you have to sign up no matter how you want to go about it. And then finally, there is a VIP upgrade. If you want to go even deeper, you want to extend your rewatch time, you want to get some spotlight coaching, then join me inside the VIP upgrade, because it's going to be an even more magical space. We're going to go even deeper into the training. Plus, you'll get the Money Magic Spell Book, which is going to help you dive into all the things that are happening currently in your income and help begin to create some clarity of how you can increase your income and what that might look like and feel like for you. Hey, so real quick question for you. Are you on the Insights email list already? And if you are not, what are you waiting for? Folks on my Insights email list get the best of the best from me. They get super secret deals, they get insights and freebies and all kinds of cool stuff delivered straight to their inbox. So if you are not yet on the list, get yourself on there right now. Click the link in the show notes and let's get you signed up so I can help you continue to keep expanding. Because, babe, OMG, the world wants more of you. So let's get you going. So, knowing that this is what we're going to be covering in the workshop, I'm trusting that you have gone ahead and saved your seat, and you are registered to join me inside the Money Magic Workshop. I'm so excited to hang with you there. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so one of the things that I've been playing with a lot lately, you're going to hear about this much more deeply when my interview with Marissa Liesenfeld comes out in August. I'll tell you more about the tool that she has created and that is like game changing in my business. One of the things that was showing up for me today as part of this tool was the question, what's the one thing about how you're currently positioned or selling that doesn't feel quite right? Now, you'll hear me inside the interview raving about the tool. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but definitely follow the show so that you get the notification when that interview comes out, because Marissa has a really amazing gift for all of you, and it's going to be such a great tool in your tool belt. And what has been coming out of my exploring the tool, because I wanted to test it before I sat down for my interview with her, was how much clarity this is giving on my business, and specifically how much clarity it's been giving in terms of how I am meant to show up. And when I answered this question this morning or just now about like, what's the one thing that you're currently positioned or selling that doesn't feel quite right? What I realized was, and I've known this in a way for a long time, but I've never been like sort of down to just like flat out name it so clearly. And that is that business experts everywhere will always say to you that, like, when you're marketing something, when you're marketing a product or a service, it's your job as the entrepreneur to assure your potential customers that your strategy, your course, your program, your coaching, your whatever is the best fit, the best solution to the problem that they're facing. Now, I know that this makes for really compelling marketing copy. When we see something and it's like, "Oh my gosh, like you're in my head. How did you know that that's exactly what I needed help with?" It inspires us to take action and to move, which is wonderful. That's what marketing is at its heart intended to do. And that movement is actually a really beautiful divine exchange. The challenge is that this positioning myself as like the absolute expert, as the authority, as the person that has all the answers for you, has always felt disingenuous. Because let's be real, I don't unless you have my personal number, I don't know all the things about you personally. I have a very strong sense that when I give you, okay, hey, if these things feel true for you in your life, then these products, these services, these workshops, these trainings are going to be really, really powerful for you. And I know that because it's always tied off from my own experience. And what this tool has been really helping me understand and own in a much more deeper way is that the power of the experience that I've had in my life is intended to be translated in ways that share the wisdom that I have gained through the hard fought experience. So, all that to say, I have this like lovely little journal. I haven't started working on it yet, but I found it, honest to goodness, I found it at Dollarama when I was shopping for a little gift for one of our adopted nieces a couple weeks ago. And it's quite pretty. It looks like pink marble sort of on the outside. And it just says, "An Inspired Life, a journal for thinking, dreaming, and discovering." So it's like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? And my eyes fell on this book, and everything in me said, pick up the book. The topic is inside. And I'm like, okay. So I read the first page and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I read the second page and I'm like, okay. And then I read this page and I was like, oh my God, that's it. Everything in me lit up. And the way that this journal is structured, I think, yep, I had to skip ahead and double check, like, is it just these 3 pages that I picked up? Is the page on the left has a quote from a person, the page on the right has a journaling prompt. Now, again, I haven't started working on this, but like I'm excited to actually sit down and work on the journal. This is the quote that I was like, everybody needs to hear this. The quote is from a person named Dan Atto, Attoe, and it says this: "You have more freedom than you are using." Now, let's tie this together with what I was just saying, okay? When we are marketed to expect, believe, and trust that someone we are buying a product or a service from, that product and or service, whatever, is the answer to the problem that we've been trying to figure out, what we do is we tend to generally we take action, we make the sale, right? We say yes, we accept the invitation, we order the product, we sign up for the course, we say, here's my email address, like take me to the training. We engage and take action and move forward. The challenge is that when things are marketed in such a way that says this is the answer to the problem you've been struggling with, then we go in expecting that we're going to find the answer in there. Of course we are. That's what we were promised when we went through the marketing copy. What this quote today from this Dan Atto really struck me as is that we have forgotten that we actually have much more opportunity, much more freedom available to us at every given moment of the day than we are actually using and employing. And here's how I want you to understand this. And or let me say that differently. Here's how I'm going to encourage that we think about this today. Okay. So, so think about this. All right. So let's say that what I shared at the beginning of the episode really resonated with you, and you're like, oh my God, I want to sign up for Amy's Money Magic Workshop. That sounds amazing. I'm going to get in there. So awesome. The I guess marketing copy worked. Now I will say that like none of that was preemptively written. I just was talking off the cuff. But anyway, the point is that like what I shared with you, it worked. It got you to take the action to sign up for the workshop and say, yes, I'm so excited. Amy's going to share some really profound insights. She promised me that what she's going to share is going to change my life. I'm delighted. So awesome. You're hooked in. You're like, yeah, okay, let's do the thing. I'm here for it. Now, you have an idea of what that life change is going to be. Let me give you some 4 examples from my own life. I've signed up for workshops on manifestation on the promise of this will give you clarity on why your desires aren't manifesting. I'm like, oh my God, amazing. So, I've been trying to manifest this, whatever, into my life for like 10 years. And no matter what I do, I can't seem to bring it in. Show me the reason why it's not working. I'm going to give you another example. I've signed up for many money programs. I've read lots of money books. I'm not kidding when I say I've done a tremendous amount of research and experimentation in the realm of money and how to understand it as a tool and as a function in our world better, but also how to create more of it in my life. And I've signed up for countless things that have promised, okay, this is going to show you, I'm going to teach you exactly how to build wealth. And I'm like, okay, I'm here. Let's do it. And so I go in and I pick up the book or I sign into the workshop or whatever. And I'm fully expecting, okay, they're going to show me exactly what I need to do to build wealth. I could go on and on. There's like countless examples, but we don't want to be here forever listening to my examples. What I want you to understand is when we sign up for something, we have this expectation. We are holding this desire and or this perceived problem in our mind, and we're saying we've matched it with the marketing copy and said, oh, this marketing copy tells me that it's going to help me figure this problem out. And so we take the action. And that is beautiful. And that is so like it's marketing at its best to get us to move out of the place of inaction, out of the place of there's a word that's apathy, to move us forward in a direction. When marketing does that, it's really amazing. And it's not always that our moving forward in the direction is a yes. Sometimes the moving forward in a direction is a no. There's lots of marketing copy that that is out there, commercials and ad spots on like social media. We see it everywhere. And you might look at it and go, "Oh, that's not me." So okay, I'm saying no to that product, that service, to that person. It might feel like you're not doing anything, but that no is also a very clear action point. And it I don't want to say it shuts down, but in a way it kind of shuts down that particular avenue because you're not going to say no and then like still pursue that product, right? So you say, I don't know, no, the Mercedes is not for me. No, the organic milk is not for me. No, this luxury European vacation is not for me. No, this gym membership is not for me. No, those sneakers aren't for me, right? And when we create that clarity by saying a clear no and shutting that down, it allows room for other pieces to come into place for us, for other invitations, for other opportunities to show up. And they maybe couldn't have flowed in unless we had that clear no saying, that is not for me. And so this next thing flows in and goes, well, how about this? Is this perhaps for you? Okay. Are you with me so far? My love. So often we talk about wanting to manifest more money, wanting to create more income in our lives. And something that has been flowing through for me lately is that we've been focusing on the wrong element. It is not that we want to just manifest more money in our lives, but that we actually need to disconnect ourselves from the identity of a person who is under earning. This is something that is becoming very, very clear to me, and I'm seeing some really strong patterns in my own life and in the lives of people around us. And it's so integral to us building the life of our dreams that I've decided to run a free workshop on how to break the cycle of under earning and begin to move into the identity of a person, financial goals that we have, and to feel good about it. If this sounds at all interesting to you, then I want you to join me. It's going to be completely free. It's going to be happening in July, and jump in with me for this free workshop because listen, babe, we need to put more dollars into your bank account so that you can really move and circulate money and abundance in the world in a way that feels wonderful and juicy to you. And step one to doing that is disconnecting from someone who is under earning. So join me in the workshop. The URL is in the show notes. I am so excited to help you break that cycle. Okay, so we have said yes and or no to something that has stood in front of us. That is just one moment in time. We've made one decision, and that decision has allowed other opportunities or decisions to flow into our awareness. All right. So this idea that we have more freedom than we are using is this. When marketing copy says to us, when an entrepreneur, I want to use a word other than marketing, and I can't think of what it is right now. Someone says to us in a relatively convincing way, hey, this thing that's in front of you is the answer that you have been looking for. What we kind of tend to do is that we abdicate responsibility for what might come. And if that thing doesn't come, then we still, in the space of abdicating responsibility, we go back to the person who sold us the product, the service, the training, the book, the whatever, and say, hey, you promised me this and it didn't work. Now, what typically we are measuring, whether it worked or not, is we are measuring, did this problem, this idea or desire that I had in mind when I signed up for the training, the book, the workshop, the program, the coaching, bought the product, did it come forward? And if it didn't, then we go, it didn't work. Why didn't this work? The problem with this kind of thinking is it allows really just only like one channel for something to come through. Let me give you an example that I'm hoping is going to help give you some clarity. When we are younger, I mean, I guess the truth is it's going to happen anytime. In my experience, this happened in my 20s and in my teens, okay? So when I was younger than I am now, I dated. I didn't date a lot, and I can count on one hand the number of actual dates I went on, which sounds kind of funny to me. But I had, I think I had my first boyfriend when I was like in grade 6 or something. I had, I'm trying to think, one or two boyfriends, I think, in high school. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Sorry, guys, if those of you who I've dated are like listening to me right now and you're like, what the fuck, Amy? How can you not remember? It's been a minute, okay? So anyway, doesn't matter. I dated different people in my teens, in my 20s. I had really wonderful relationships with all of them, regardless of the fact that they ended. They ended because it just wasn't the right fit, okay? And when I was trying to figure out, so at this point in my life, there was a lot more coming out in terms of talking about like manifesting your desires and creating the reality that you want. And so there was a very common, or at least in my world, this very common advice that said, make a list of all of the qualities and attributes and characteristics that you want to have in your ideal partner. So I did, right? And I probably did it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. I don't even know. And I would especially do it if I was feeling particularly lonely or particularly frustrated with being a single girl at the time, or I was just out of a relationship and I'm like, well, that guy was like great, but man, I don't want to do that again. Like I actually like want these qualities. And I could only know that because I had dated these other people. So it would be really easy in our example to say, okay, well, this is supposed to be the answer. Why did the answer not come as a result of making this list? It'd be really easy to say, well, I made the list and I thought that this guy was, fit all the characteristics. How come the relationship failed? Like, then something has gone wrong. But what we can only see in hindsight is that that particular experience gave us insight on something else. So the I think I might have talked about this in the podcast before. I don't know, and it doesn't matter. If I have, it's deep in the vault. The guy that I dated before I met the man who now is my husband, I thought he was the cat's pajamas. Okay. Like he was tall, he was strong. He was kind, he was cool. I've never in my life been a cool person. And I was like, oh my God, there's this like super hot guy. And like he thinks that I'm awesome. And like it was all the things that I wanted. I wanted that someone would meet me or like see me across the room and be like, fuck, I need to find out who that person is. And that's how it happened. That's how we ended up meeting. Now we were both in the wedding party for friends of ours that were getting married. But I didn't know anybody. I just walked into the hall to help. Those of you in Manitoba will know what this is about. We were setting up for the social. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I'm not going to explain it to you. We were setting up for this social, which is a big party ahead of the wedding. And this guy saw me across the way and was like asking his buddy like, "Who is that?" So all of those things happened wonderfully. He drove like a sexy truck. He was so um what's the word I'm looking for? Admiration is kind of the right tone, but not quite the right thing. But anyway, he really loved and was so proud of how smart I was. Like this is, and he would just bring it out in comments different times. He had a really good job. He had a really good income. He worked in the oil fields. So that meant that he also the people around him tended to be what I'd call more of like a rough and tumble kind of guy, right? So they aren't necessarily the people who super excelled in school. They weren't necessarily the straight A students, but very smart, obviously, in like other ways. And professionally way more successful than certainly I was at this point in my life. And I was like, I think I'm doing something wrong. These guys are making way more money than me. Something is awry, right? And he would brag to everybody. I didn't know this. I did hear about this afterwards. He would brag to other friends about like, oh my God, like check out this girl I'm dating. Like she's so fucking hot. And I was like, really? I'm hot? Now, if you're like, oh my God, Amy, why are you just like bragging about yourself? This story is going to come to an end. Okay. I promise you. But these were all the things that I thought I wanted. Okay. I was completely over the moon with this guy. I was starting to envision like our lives together. There were little tiny tendrils of this dream life that I was manufacturing that didn't quite feel like what I wanted, though. This person was warm and loving and kind and like wonderful, and also lived in a small city that wasn't really my dream of where I wanted to spend the rest of my life. It didn't have the career opportunities that I wanted. It didn't have what I'll call the more forward thinking or expanded thinking kind of mental and what's the word I'm looking for? Education kind of approach in the the culture that was around. So I knew that if I was building my life here, there was a chance that I was going to kind of feel like a little bit like a fly buzzing against a window, being able to see the expansion, but not quite being able to get there. There were some elements to our physical relationship which were not what I had always dreamed of, but I was willing to forgo that for all of these other so-called check marks on my list of like, hey, I said this is the ideal, and look how wonderfully this has manifested in my life, and I think this is going to be everything. I'm so excited. And the parts that aren't on there, I'll learn to live without them. Well, we were together for, I don't know, 3, 4 months, something like that, and the relationship ended extremely suddenly. Like, nothing ever seemed that it was wrong. It was just like one day we were great, and the next day he, like, stopped talking to me, and I was like, I to this day, I still have no idea what happened. And I remember being devastated, and also not just devastated because the relationship ended, but that was the year of 2012 when my entire life melted to the ground. And it was just one more thing. I was like, well, Jesus fuck, like what is left that is going to go like just melt out of my life? My job is gone, my apartment is gone, my gym is gone, my friends are gone. Now my boyfriend is gone. Like, what the fuck is happening, right? What I can only see now is that this person, this human was a very close calibration to the partner that I wanted to live my life. He had a lot of very, very close qualities, but it wasn't quite the right fit. It seemed like the right solution. If someone had said, Amy, write the list, and then that person will come in and that will be the solution to this problem. I'm using problem in air quotes of like, I want to have a partner that I share my life with. This solution is going to come in and it's going to be amazing. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, what the fuck? Like, did I do something wrong? What is happening right now? But that gave me some great clarity on some of the things that I thought I was adamant about. I really wanted a partner who was taller and stronger than me. I am not a dainty girl. I have always wanted to have a partner that I could, on occasion feel a little like sort of tiny and feminine with. And this person was tall enough and physically strong enough that I had elements of that, and it felt wonderful. But I thought that it had to look a certain way. I have that now with my husband, but he is not as tall as this other guy that I dated. He's not quite as muscular as this other guy that I dated, but I feel so like this really wonderful balance of both feminine and like wonderfully celebrated for my womanhood, and also celebrated for my strength, for my swarthiness, for how my body is physically built and how I move through space and how physically capable I am. This is something that I would not have known and or appreciated to the level that I do now if not for having had the relationship with this other guy. So, what I want you to understand, coming back to that quote that we talked about earlier, that we have more freedom than we are using. We think that we are signing up for something, we're saying yes to something or saying no to something that is a specific answer to the problem that is standing in front of us. And what is actually happening is that we are calibrating ever closer to the thing. Okay? We are calibrating ever more deeply into alignment with the desire, the solution, the experience, right, that we want to have. And perhaps you've signed up for a program in the past and you're like, fuck, that was a giant waste of money. I certainly have felt some of those myself, but there were elements that came only because I said yes to that program that weren't necessarily because of the program. It wasn't necessarily because of what the person teaching it or leading it actually shared. And in a lot of cases, it was sort of in what's the word? It's not in It's gone out of my head, but it'll come to me. This perimenopause thing, guy, is this like a normal thing, ladies? Does this happen to all of you as well? Because it's driving me fucking crazy when I'm trying to record a podcast. Ugh. Anyway, bless all of you who are going to be with me through all of this. And OMG, I'm looking forward to, I don't know, what is it, 10 years down the road? When do my words come back into my brain? When will I just know what it is that I'm talking about? All right. I've lost my train of thought. That's okay. We're just going to start afresh. So there have been people that I've signed up for programs and courses and coaching with that we didn't get anywhere near to the result or the desire that got me signing up with them in the first place. However, I gained a tremendous amount of insight, a tremendous amount of experience, and I built a ton of wisdom as a result of being in that space. Okay. So this is like a really weird, and here I just was like, and now I'll tell you again about my workshop, which I was like, this seems kind of fucking weird. Okay. But let me say this, and this is what was coming through as I was answering this journaling question earlier. Business experts tell us that we need to really like strategically place ourselves as the solution, right? Capital letters, the answer. My strategy is going to get you there. My process is absolutely going to get you there. I'll give you clarity. I'll give you this. I promise that you'll get, XYZ result. I guarantee the blah, 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 blah. This is what I can guarantee in all of my work. Okay. I can promise you this in all of my work. I promise you, no matter what level of my work that you engage in, even if it's only the podcast, which is great. I'm super freaking delighted that you're here. Any of my programs, any of my emails that send out, I promise that you will hear things positioned in a way that you haven't necessarily heard them before. And the benefit of that to you is that the heart of what I'm saying might be something that you've heard before, but the delivery of what I'm saying isn't. And therefore, it allows your brain to pick that piece up and play with it in a different way. Now, here is what is so magical when we do that. When we can give our brain something that gets it to start to play with it and gets our neural networks firing in different ways. What we are doing is we are building the neuroplasticity of our brain. We are actually building new neural networks, and in however it's going to be landing with you, it might be strengthening something that needed to be strengthened. It might be weakening something that needed to be weakened. It might also just crack open an entirely new way or a new awareness that had never been revealed to you before. So the heart of my work isn't about I have the answer, the solution. Come hither, my loves. I will, give you exactly everything that you've dreamed of. The heart of my work is that I have done deep research, deep excavation, deep experiential journeys, understanding money, understanding manifestation, understanding personal growth, understanding how to live in the world as a woman who's going through perimenopause and is like, what the fuck is happening right now, right? And through that experience, I have discovered some really cool, I'll say small T truths, because there are very few capital T truths in the world. And I am willing to set them up in a way that your brain can actually integrate. Now, here's what happens when we integrate new information. When we integrate new information, it actively adjusts our reality. There's a reason that I have Wealthy as Fuck written the way that I do, because it is getting you to adjust your reality one step at a time. It is getting you to build an extremely solid foundation on which you can build wealth that lasts. I'm not here about just like, okay, let me show you how to manifest $1,000. Like, that would be amazing. And you'll do that, of course. But I'm much more interested in, amazing. Okay, so now that you've manifested that $1,000, how are we using that to have the $1,000 go find 1,000 more friends? right? How are we building wealth that lasts in your life, that feels good, that feels supportive for you, and like it allows you to live a life that's joyful and full and abundant, right? Inside Breakup with Broke, I talk about I completely help you rewire how you see worry, how you see fear, how you see shame. These are three super critical experiences that we all have when it comes to money. And I promise you, you'll never hear what I've said inside Breakup with Broke the same way from someone else. Okay, it's combining years of research and experience. It's bringing together um, elements from books like Psycho-Cybernetics, Money Mentality. Actually, I didn't take Money Mentality Makeover when I did that. Manifestation Babe Academy. It's done Transformational Coaching Academy. It's done. Oh my God, I've done so many um, I can't even name them all. Like there's a huge amount of books and a huge amount of programs and a huge amount of, and then just like personal life experience that all feeds into the program. So there isn't anybody else who can talk about it in that way because nobody else has had the unique kind of journey that I've had, right? There are going to be elements that you've heard before, but you've never heard them in the way that I share them. And the workshop that I have coming up at the end of July, you may or may not have heard someone talk about under earning, talk about the fear of visibility, talk about, getting through financial scarcity, talk about how to build wealth. If you're at all curious about money, if you're money curious, um, then you've absolutely heard people talk about them in some way. And you will have never heard someone talk about it the way that I am going to be sharing it with you, introducing ideas and concepts and knowledge to you. And it's never going to create the same unlock as the way it is in how I'm presenting it to you into the workshop. Now, if that's not a unique marketing proposition, I don't know what is, right? So all that to say, get your buttons in the workshop because I'd love to see you there. But for real, like if you're wanting to create more income, more expansion, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening, right? Like maybe your bills are getting paid, but no matter what you do, you can't quite seem to create more. Now, okay, hang on. I realize that we're at 42 minutes and we're going to go slightly longer, okay? Because this is popping through. We need to talk about this. All right, here we go. One of the big things that is very, very prevalent in the world today is that there's a real lopsidedness to what I'll call the American dream and the opportunities available for generations such as millennials and younger. Okay. So I could do an entire episode on this and I'm like working hard to curb how much we're going to go into this. But the natural place that your brain will go and or should have probably gone when I said we're going to have this workshop that's going to talk about under earning and extended moments of financial scarcity, the natural place for your brain to go is going to be, but Amy, it sounds wonderful to think about like how I'm going to get more income, but can we just have a for real talk about what's happening in the world right now? I can't work harder. I'm exhausted from applying for jobs. I have no friggin' idea, no capacity left to create more effort in order to create more income. I'm so glad you're thinking that because that is exactly where your brain, I don't want to say should be going, but that's how the sentence is coming into my brain. It's where your brain should be going to say, well, I'm aware of what's happening in the world. I've been trying these things and there's only so much that I can do. And I'm like, you're right. And nothing about this workshop is about efforting harder. Not a single fucking thing. What we are going to be talking about is stuff that's happening on the back end in the code systems that are running things behind. Yes, we'll talk about beliefs, but we're going to talk about it in a way that you have not heard of before. Because what has been coming through with like roaring clarity for me in the last few months, and that's why I was like, I'm not going to write a new workshop. I have a really great workshop. I'm just going to present that a few more times. And then the divine was like, yo, girl, I know that you thought you had this workshop in the bag, but like, we have something new. You need to talk about it. So here we are, and now I'm promoting it on the podcast. Um, what has been coming through is that when so far everything that I've seen, everything that I've researched, everything that I've engaged in courses and podcasts and all the rest has talked about manifesting money and talked about the belief structure and the identity that we need to have. But none of them, not a single friggin' one, has talked about what has been coming through for me lately, which is, understanding some of the markers of under earning, understanding some of the long-term effects of extended financial scarcity and struggle, understanding the role that some of us had to play as children and how they are impacting our ability to earn and grow our income as adults. I promise you this is going to be a life-changing workshop. So like get your peach in there. Let's make some good shit happen, okay? So, oh my goodness. I just feel like I got to go hit the gym. Today has been a real upside down kind of a day. Um I need to do this probably somewhere completely separate, but I'm going to tug it in here. I have a bonus module inside Wealthy as Fuck is called Navigating Financial Gaps. And I will actually be offering that as a standalone option in the very near future. I'm literally just getting the back end set up so that you actually can purchase it. And this morning, as I was having my coffee, I have a full day. Okay. Like I woke up this morning going, okay, we can't dilly dally in bed. Amy, get your ass out. We have a lot of stuff to do today. And then I got distracted and I sort of snoozed for like 5 more minutes. And then I'm like, okay, get your butt out of bed. So like right from the beginning, I was like, today's a full day. So I'm sitting with my coffee this morning and oh my God, the divine was like, hello, good, you're here? Excellent, let's go. We have a video that needs to be recorded and it needs to be recorded now. And I'm like, okay, I got to get groceries. And the divine was like, get them later. This is coming through now. I'm like, all right, fine, here we go. So this morning I recorded, I think it's now up to 4 parts inside Navigating Financial Gaps. And I keep thinking that I'm done. So I keep ending the videos like, thank you so much. And like, blah, blah, blah. Then something else comes through. So I did that this morning. I didn't get out to go get my groceries until like, it was like after 10 o'clock, which is super late for me. I'd like to be on my way home by 10 a.m. Then I'm not in the crowds and everything else. And then I got home, and then by the time I got everything unloaded, I still had to do laundry today, and then I had to have some lunch, and now it's 2:20 in the afternoon. I haven't had my shower yet, which I don't enjoy, because I wanted to hit the gym before I hit the shower. I think the divine is now officially going to let me off the hook of creating content for you, and go hit the gym and build some muscles that will look all sexy in my tank tops this summer, right? Anyway. My loves, if you have enjoyed this episode, I'd love so much and really appreciate it if you were to share this episode out. Send it to your friends, send it to your whole friggin' family if you want to. Put it in the family newsletter that you put out this month. And yeah, let's get this episode into the hands of more wonderful humans like yourself. If you have not yet done so, I would love so much if you were to leave a review on the podcast platform that you are listening to this on. That would be awesome. And yeah, and then the other 2 invitations that you've heard peppered through the episode itself. So if you're not on the Insights email list, what are you even waiting for? Get your sweet little tush on the Insights email list. I don't believe in like spamming your inbox. There are some periods where you'll get more emails, which are typically inside launch cycles, just because I want to make sure that you have information and insight at your fingertips that will help you make a clear yes or no action. Okay. But beyond that, you get 2 emails from me a week, one when the podcast comes out, one when the YouTube video comes out. I don't want to inundate. And the emails, I try to make them fun. So yeah. All right. So, okay. I got distracted. Insights email list, and then sign up for the Money Magic Workshop. Both URLs are in the show notes. I gotta pump some iron. Okay. My loves, thank you so much for being here with me this week. Thank you for pressing play, and I will see you next week on the Manifesting Millions podcast. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode, my love. If you loved what you heard today, I'd be so grateful if you left a review and shared it with someone ready for more. For additional love and inspiration, find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at XOAmyDiamond, or visit the links in the show notes. I'm already excited to connect in the next episode, and I'm cooking up something really juicy for you. Until then, I'm sending you all my love, and I'm reminding you, you're already awesome. It's time to let your brilliance shine.